Tom Ruskin, private investigator and former NYPD detective investigator, and Linda Kenny Bodden, former member of the Casey Anthony defense team. All of them brilliant in their own areas, so we're really lucky. Jim, I want to start with you because you were just at this latest press conference. What happened there?
Well, they announced that there's a new attorney representing the family, Joe Tacopina. He worked on the Irwin Vandersloot case, came in from New York today to take over and really, I think, try to reset this case, to try to alter the public perception of Deborah and the family and what happened. It was very interesting around the issue of drinking. He brought up two possibilities around the issue of her being drunk. One, that if she was indeed that drunk, she may not have heard an intruder coming into the house. And secondly, if she was drunk, could she pull off this perfect disappearance where the baby is gone without a trace and there's no clue? So there's definitely trying to come in, recreate a different sense of her, a more sympathetic sense of her, also raising the issue that police focusing on her so much has detracted them from doing more searches. He'd like to see more searches. They have been doing searches today and yesterday. They'd like to see more of that going forward, Edie.
Yeah, well, you've had, I think, National Guard, FBI, police, CSI. You've got a lot of people out there. It sounds like Joe is trying to create a defense.
At times, he certainly lapsed into sounding like that. Yeah, we even saw dog teams today right here at their home where baby Lisa disappeared. They said that the family today gave consent, again, to research this home, and we saw them out here with dogs, going not only here but to neighbors' homes and the home where they've been staying for the last few days. What he was a lot less clear on is, will they be able to interview the family again? Will Deborah and Jeremy, the parents, be interviewed by police again? It's been about a week since they've last spoken to police. And their two sons, I believe they're about 8 and 5, they haven't spoken to the police in quite some time either. Very circumspect about whether they'll be able to do that. So on one hand, sort of criticizing the police a little bit for not focusing more on searching, yet not really clear whether they'll let them be interviewed again. But definitely trying to create, I think, a defense is a fair way to put it, Edie.
All right, Jim, thank you. And Linda, I want to ask you, because, you know, I mean, Joe Tacopina, as Jim mentioned, working on that Irwin Vandersloot,
right?
And you working on that Casey Anthony trial, you know, you can understand why people are looking at her with suspicion.
Well, you're always looking at the parents, but you know, when I looked at that scene and I saw the window still there and the crib still in the house, I mean, Tom would have never have done this. Why weren't they taken out and given to the crime lab to look for if that's this consideration? Because you want to see if indeed the parents are guilty or not guilty. You want to see if they're suspect or not suspect, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here, Edie. At some point, they're going to, because of the drinking, they're going to arrest that mother, they're going to arrest the father for allowing her to care for that child while she's drunk, they're going to separate them, and they're going to try to turn them on one another, whether or not they're guilty or not.
So would you counsel them to continue talking to police? Or because
through their lawyer.
Only through the lawyer now?
It's been a week. It's been more than, it's been a lot of time. They have to now talk to the lawyer. Submit me the questions. We'll give you the answers. And also, what's going to happen, Tom? The court's going to take those kids, and they're going to look at those kids and appoint a guardian and go question those kids.
I think at a certain point in time, what they may do is they may have to lawyer up with separate attorneys.
Right.
They may have conflicting interests.
Because they're not.
So they may have Linda.
Married.
No, they're not married, but it wouldn't matter.
She's married to somebody else, apparently separated. One of the children is the boyfriend's child with someone else.
Right.
The other child is her child with her estranged husband, and this third baby, the baby that's missing, is their child together. So there are so many pieces. I had to have a flow chart in the office, but it makes it very difficult. And you're saying separate
Eventually, they may have to have separate counsels. If one's arrested, then it may behoove the other one to get separate counsel. And Joe Tacopina, being the attorney that he is, and the excellent attorney he is, he may say at a certain point in time, I can only represent Deborah, or I can only represent the husband.
Joe, is he setting up a defense? Because it sure sounded like it.
He is definitely looking to protect his clients.
Oh, no, Linda, nice way to put it.
He is. He's looking to protect his clients, and that's his job at this point in time. It's also because he believes his clients are innocent, is to get the police to do what the police should be doing all along. What the FBI did today. What the FBI did today is they came in with scent dogs. They got permission to go into the house to retrieve a scent from the crib and from her car, and then to drive the dogs to see where it takes them. See if it takes them to the abandoned house where they found those diapers.
Let me ask Jim another question. Jim, I heard that they also very quietly were trying to did take things from a neighbor's house. Did you see that or hear anything about it?
What we saw in the neighbor's house was dogs go in with the police. They were in there for some time, and they came out with bags. we initially were wondering if this was evidence or something. The FBI told us that those were just materials that the dogs use when they're doing these scents. So we know that this is a family that has babysat the child before and looked after the child, and may even have that they had regular contact. It's right next door. So we were wondering if those were the scents that we just mentioned coming out to add to that search. We're not sure about that yet. We weren't able to get that confirmed. That's the question we have in for the police.
Edie, one other thing that's going to happen here is that, you can't discount the possibility this child was taken, because if it's alive, this child's alive. We need to find that child. Right. And somebody could have seen that child with that mother being drunk and said, this family doesn't deserve to have that baby. We have to protect that baby. So until we know, all efforts have to be on finding that baby.
Well, normally I think that is the first thing you think, is that somebody who can't have a child or, whatever, has gone in and snatched a baby.
But to Linda's point, it could have been someone who said she gets drunk all the time, she passes out.
And we don't know that. Let me say, we don't know that. She acknowledges she was drinking and was drunk that night.
It's a different idea. Well, now we do. She's come out, she basically has told two different stories. That, as an investigator, would rub me the wrong way. And it's also why she may have failed the polygraph the first time. She knew she was telling lies.
Yeah.
She knew she was telling lies. She knows that it wasn't 10:30, it's now 6:30. She could have very possibly failed the polygraph the first time only because of those lies.
Absolutely.
But if she knows, by saying these things, it's clear that she did know more than, if you're...
Yeah, but let's just say, if she's drunk, what if she fell asleep and rolled over on the child and actually suffocated it? She could have done nothing. I mean, she may be innocent. The problem is no one seems to know, and because you lie and tell different stories doesn't mean you're guilty of murder or hurting your child. It could mean you're guilty of trying to cover up something else, or maybe you're not. We don't know.
Tom, you can understand, though, you want, for the police investigative purposes, you have to go in there and assume that's the crime scene, and it's not just the baby gone, but the parents as the suspects.
Correct.
And so you've got to really focus on the area that you know the child was in. Yet at the same time, the mother and other people are accurately also saying, you spend all the time here, you can't spend the time there. Can you effectively run the investigation doing it all?
Well, with 30 to 40 investigators, which Kansas City Police Department have given, plus the FBI people, you're running a very intense investigation, and you are traveling and following up on every lead. I think that they're up to 500 leads at this point in time. So they're following up on those leads as well. I think eventually the story will air out if the parents are responsible or if someone else is responsible. But I say that the police department is doing everything that they possibly could do. The parents also have to protect themselves, especially if they know that they're innocent.
And we know they want to find those cell phones. We haven't talked about it, but those cell phones, I mean, where those cell phones are is where you find where the child
Except what came out today, which is very, very interesting, where the police said that there was a call at 2:30 in the morning. Those cell phones were shut off. They couldn't pay for them, is what the parents are saying today. So they couldn't have made an outgoing call at 2:30 in the morning. The police may have been using that as a ploy, but the parents knew that they were not telling them the truth.
But the phones are still missing. So
yeah,
where
the phones are missing.
Where's the baby?
What's weird to me is how the parents haven't tried that phone. If I had lost my phone and my baby, I'd be trying those phones every 10 minutes. The parents said that they never have tried it.
There are a lot of questions that have not been answered here. Thank you so much for joining us, though. Always fascinating talking to you. Tom Ruskin,
Thank you, Edie.
Linda Kenny Bodden, and Jim Spellman down in Missouri. And thank you, everyone. We're going to have more on the disappearance of baby Lisa after a quick break.